Bizarre Brain Comics. Whoa, whoa, whoa there, Nightmare. Hang on. Good girl. Yeah, good horse. Yeah. Yeah. Hey there. I'm the Trigger Kid. Yeehaw. These caps just do not work. Yeah. As I said, I'm the Trigger Kid, and I'm here to tell you tales of the Wild West that never was. Especially with frogs in your throat. Okay. And I'm here for Bizarre Brain Comics. Yeah, and this time, as you can probably tell, we're going to talk about a Western, but it's not a wild, rootin' tootin', shooting, action-packed, dramatic, drama-filled Western. No, we're going to talk about Lucky Luke. And specifically, this adventure here of Lucky Luke with Calamity Jane. Now, let me tell you here. Now, Lucky Luke is a Western bande dessinée. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. That is a Franco-Belgian comic originally published in French. This is a Western. Yeah, they like Westerns in Europe too. Okay. So, Lucky Luke is a Western bande dessinée comic series. It was created in 1946 by Belgian cartoonist Morris, just known as Morris. He wrote and drew the series until 1955. Then he started collaborating with a French writer, Morris Goscinny. I don't know. I don't know if that's a correct pronunciation. And they worked together until Morris's death. Until Renee's death in 1977. Afterwards, Morris collaborated with several other writers until his death in 2001. And it was continued under various other creators after that. And the strip stars a Western gunslinger, Lucky Luke. He's known as the man who can shoot faster than his own shadow. He roams the American West on his intelligent horse, Jolly Jumper, where he comes up against a variety of villains, both fictional, mythological, and historical. It is a humorous strip which parodies the Western genre and has some really nicely stylized artwork in it. Now, of course, this type is intended more specifically for children, but it's perfectly fine for adults too. I'm not sure whether these were originally published in a magazine, a continuing magazine form, or what, but they're then reprinted in graphic novel form, and in several languages. So, yeehaw, partner! Let's go take a look at Lucky Luke and his adventure with Calamity Jane. Yeehaw! There's Lucky Luke and Calamity Jane. And I forgot to shut off the furnace, so you may hear that in the background. Yeah. Here's two of the Lucky Luke adventures that I've got. I had another one, but I don't know what happened to it. And I want to get more. Listen, here's, even though this is number 1 and this one is number 8, I don't think they were necessarily, this is necessarily the number 1. This is funny here. There's Billy the Kid. He's just a little kid. There you get to see his horse, Jolly Jumper. And then here we see Calamity Jane. And she's a tough character, I tell you. And I mentioned how he's known as the man who could outshoot his own shadow. And here's the proof right here. Look at that. And there have been several movies of Lucky Luke over the decades, mostly animated. But I know of at least one. I said at least one. I think there may have been more live action movies of Lucky Luke. One is from the one that I know is, of course, European made. European, and it stars an actor whose name I cannot remember, but he did a lot of Italian spaghetti westerns in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, but his stuff were the Trinity movies, if you're familiar with those. And they were all done with kind of tongue-in-cheek. So he was kind of perfect for this because it was done tongue-in-cheek. It's kind of a fun movie, but it's not that good. But it has its moments. And I enjoyed that. Here's Lucky Luke. And it starts off with, here we have Lucky Luke riding Jolly Jumper. I really like the stylization of the art and the horse. It's just so nice clean, crisp line work. Now these pages are kind of like in Disney comics, is 4-tiered 12-panel basic page grid. And he's riding along, finds a watering hole, decides to take a dip when he is suddenly attacked by some Apaches. Whoa! Puts him in a tough bind because there he is naked in the water. But suddenly something's driving them Apaches away, and there's a whole bunch of curse words. See, that's cartoon language for curse words. And bullets being ricocheted around on the ground, and they really take off. Pow, 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 pow. They head out, and here we see, Lucky Luke's about to say, "Howdy, cowboy," and then he realizes that ain't a cowboy. That's a woman. He's surprised. She introduces herself. She's Calamity Jane, and they kind of make friends. They camp together for a little while, and Jane gives a brief introduction to her background, even though it's filled with a lot of falsehoods. She was known for telling tall tales, and her story ends up with her marrying Wild Bill Hickok, which is a story that Calamity Jane was telling back then, except, of course, she was never married to Wild Bill Hickok, and at the time of his death, he was married to another woman back east. So, we know she cusses, she chews, she shoots, and she does everything, and especially lies. So they head to the town of El Plomo. They get in there, and while they're going into the bar, they're not going to serve her because they don't serve ladies. So she spits in the spittoon, blasts her gun, says, "I ain't no lady." Then the owner comes down, and they finally come to a bit of an agreement. they're going to at gunpoint. They're going to serve her. While Luke, he's looking for work, so he goes to the sheriff's office. And there he gets to the sheriff's office, and he's going to become a deputy. It tells him about the gun running to the local Apaches, which is causing a lot of trouble. And then Lucky Luke goes back to the he said he can stay there in jail, accidentally locks him in, but that's okay. Lets him out, goes back to the saloon, knows Jane's still there because he can hear her cussing up a storm. She's telling him a tall tale. And so he doesn't want the owner, who is August Oyster, doesn't want Jane in here, so she just decides she's going to buy the place. She's got a whole bunch of gold. Well, he says it's not for sale. So then they come up with a deal, kind of enforced at gunpoint, that she gets to buy the saloon if she beats him in arm wrestling. So, well, Oyster gets a ringer in, this big old guy. He comes in, and everyone's laying down their bets because they're going to have arm wrestle. This big guy's going to, this goon is going to arm wrestle Calamity Jane. Everyone's setting down their bets. Oh, up, looks like he's going to win. Everyone's got their bets placed, and then boom, she beats him handily. So they make a lot of money from that, and Oyster is out on his ear. Calamity Jane, so she buys around, and then everyone takes off because it turns out that Oyster is the guy who's doing the gun running, and the saloon is where he's doing the gun running out of. He's got a shipment coming in. It's disguised as whiskey and beer. Meanwhile, Clem is changing the name, and this is kind of taking longer than I wanted to. Some really nice artwork. So she makes one little corner because she doesn't like the idea that ladies can't come into the saloon. So she makes one little corner, a little what does she call it? A tea room for the ladies. So she goes, no, you got to have carpets and stuff if you have tea. So she doesn't know how to do that. She goes to the local newspaper publisher and tries to see if he's got books. And he's got a recipe book, and since she can't read, she has to get somebody to read, Lucky Luke, to read it for her. So she tries making crumpets, takes everybody. Well, it's not very good, and she's not happy, and they take off. There's some really nice story pacing going on in these. And then the Oyster and the big goon come, and they're going to try to shoot it out with Calamity Jane and Lucky Luke because they need to get the saloon back. Well, that doesn't work very well. Here they're shooting up the place. But them and all the goons that they hired, they just run them off. No problem. So they got to come up with another plan. So, and here is the man they do business with. The Apache chief. Gonamo, I think is his name. Yeah, Gomino. And he threatens them that if they don't get the shipment of guns that he promised, he's going to be scalped. So Luke is snooping around town. He sees that they're going to try to burn down the saloon, but he can't. Lucky Luke catches him, stops him, but Calamity Jane also heard stuff, and Luke almost gets blown up, shot up, and he said, don't, it's going to start a fire. While she was doing some baking, it started a fire in the kitchen. So the place is burning anyway, but it was relatively minor damage. And this is part of the humor. I mean, while the stuff is still going on, the newspaper guy gets out an extra telling the whole story about what everyone was just involved in. That's a lot of fun. So Luke goes looking around because he's suspicious. He finds a trap door. Oh, that's just down to the storage cellar, and all these containers and stuff are empty. But he finds a little clue here, some funny dirt that doesn't belong down there, and it's something he finds out. It's something that comes down by the river. Meanwhile, Oyster's still trying to come up with another idea. He goes to see the top ladies in town, have their little social gathering, and he's saying, oh, he's just horrified at the thought of the saloon being run by a woman, and he wants to make things better. He's reformed, blah blah blah, all that BS. Meanwhile, Luke sees, looking for some clues, rides back to the saloon. When the ladies get there, they're gonna do their thing, and drive Calamity Jane out of town. Well, that didn't work, because with Luke said, oh, we'll give us a couple days, and see, she's already trying. She's got this little tea room, trying to set that up for the ladies, so it has a little bit of class, and give her 48 hours, and she can become a member. Okay, we'll give her at least give her a shot if she can clean up her act by then. So then they get somebody into town who can a professor to teach her from finishing school. And so funny, because this is the spitting image of David Niven from Around the World in 80 Days, which was a big movie right about the time this was originally published in 1971. It's funny, and these goons try to give him a hard time, but Luke gets him by. This becomes a running joke. After you, I beg you. Okay. And they're talking in the saloon and going to introduce himself to Clam. Well, she's not there. Also, she hollers down and brings him up, and she slaps him because he's going to kiss her hand. Well, meanwhile, Luke is then out looking for clues again. Runs upon this old prospector, gets some info about him, some caves. He checks out this cave. Looking inside the cave, it's an old mining shaft. Oh, see, the coloring is nice, real nice here, and to help convey the mood and the feeling of the darkness and the candlelight. And finds out there's a tunnel from this cave. Oh, it's loaded down with some ammunition and stuff, and it goes right to the cellar of the saloon. So that's how it was being done. Meanwhile, this guy this professor who's trying to teach her stuff, he's getting exasperated. He's starting to drink. It doesn't seem to be having much effect on her. She's trying to be ladylike, but she doesn't know what's going on. So here, there, and he's being confronted by the Apache chief again, and he's really sweating up a storm because of what might happen to him. Oh yeah, and still trying to teach Calamity Jane how to be a lady. And the professor, he's become a drunk. So Oyster goes out. They're gonna get Lucky Luke. They're gonna get the ammunition out of there, the supplies out of there, get them to the Indians, and they're gonna terrorize the town. But he goes in, and look, it's a trap. Lucky Luke is waiting for him. Yeah, he's got them banged dead to rights, and the Indians are outside the cave. Okay, this is enough. We're being bushwhacked. I mean, hornswoggled here. So the bad guys are in jail, and Lucky Luke tells him to put out a new edition. Meanwhile, the bad stuff is rubbed off from Calamity Jane, has rubbed off on the teacher, and he's leaving town. He's cussing up a storm, chewing, spitting, wearing a gun. He's nothing like he was. So here's Luke takes Calamity Jane, and they go on a shopping spree to make her into a lady. And everyone's surprised when she tries to like kiss my hand, but she's still rough and rough right about. But she gets all gussied up, and then he gives her a bottle of perfume, which she thinks is booze. She's going to drink it. So here they're going to go meet the ladies. She's walking down the street with a bustle and a parasol. Snooty old biddies. They're surprised to see how she is, and then the Indians strike. Yeehaw! Look at that! Look at that! The artwork is just great. The story is so well paced and well told. The artwork, the plotting, it's great. It is really, really great. And there they are while the ladies having tea, and Luke busts in. We're being attacked. Holy yahoo! She takes off, gets her gun. Yeah, everyone's got a barricade fighting off the Indians. Look at that. That's cool. Jolly jumper. I just love the stylization of the horse in this strip. And they're being blasted away. They're being held off. They're just terrorized by Lucky Luke and Calamity Jane on the horseback as they go charging right into the Apaches. Look at that, look at that. And they're hailed as heroes. And the ladies come to the saloon, and then Jane shows them the little tea room, and fixes tea and crumpets for them, and they're doing fine. But meanwhile, the army officers there take command of the guys who are running the guns. All's well that ends well. Luke's leaving town. Well, it seems Clam's not going to stay around either. So they shake hands, take off, and go on their separate ways. Another tale told. Another adventure with an historical, although very fictionalized. Of course, everything about Calamity Jane is fictionalized because it's hard to tell what's true and what's not. Because she told so many lies. But then what I like is that it ends right here with this picture here, right on the end of the real Calamity Jane. That's cool. I like that. So that's it for Lucky Luke and Calamity Jane. A fun little adventure. Great storytelling. Great storytelling. It's kind of subtle. It's a little bit on, can real easily appear to the mature audience, as well as the juvenile audience, because it is told so well. The kids will just like the colors and the funny little gags, and enjoy the overall story. But the adults do too, because some of the humor I think goes over the heads of kids. But it's just a lot of fun. Great artwork, great writing, well crafted story all overall. So that's all I've got this time with Lucky Luke and Calamity Jane. Like, share, and subscribe. Share it with your other comic book friends. If you know somebody who likes comics but has never come across Lucky Luke, this would be a good introduction to him. It's a good introduction for kids. Find these. You can get these at some of the bookstores, mainstream booksellers, or online. Just go to Amazon or whatever and punch in Lucky Luke, and because it'd be a great introduction for kids and for adults to this series. It's a lot of fun for all ages. I really enjoy it. Hope you did too. And remember, comics are art. Lucky Luke, here's to you.